Hello, welcome to day one of Dorothy's lockdown diaries. This is the sort of mini project to get me and hopefully you through how many days of lockdown. I just wanted to thank you all for the suggestions that came in through YouTube and the Facebook post, with ideas to follow up on. So I've got at least 50 days of content now. So it was always difficult knowing where to start, and I thought, well, what better place to start than the position we're all going to be in at some point in our motorcycling career. Whether you're on the road, a road rider or an off-road rider, you're always going to end up in this position at some point in your life. And so I just wanted to do the first video on the, and I've got Arthur here to help me, who is going to help Daddy with if he's doing his technique wrong. Is start with a basic act of picking a bike up, because it is a most crucial skill of motorcycling, really. I think if you pretend you're not going to drop your bike, then you're living in a fantasy land. We're all going to do this. We're all going to be in this position. So I wanted to talk through what is going to be a basic bike pickup principle. And so the first thing is we fell off the bike. Now there's a good chance that the engine's still running, the wheel's still spinning. You're covered in dust, you're picking yourself up. First thing to do is kill the engine. You've got to stop that bike spinning, that wheel spinning. Just kill the engine. The next step is take a deep breath, because I think what most people do, and myself included, you've dropped the bike, you're embarrassed, your adrenaline's pumping, and you just want to pick it up. And I see it as well when I'm on tours with people, and I see people drop the bike. The first thing they do is just rush to pick it up, and they pick it up like this, or they're trying to pick it up like that, or they're doing this, and all you're going to do then is strain your back and hurt yourself. So I think the most pressing thing you've got to do is just take a deep breath, to take a step back and go, right, okay, the bike's on the ground, I've killed the engine, now let's do this properly. Now obviously the circumstances are going to dictate it. If you're in the middle of the road, maybe you're going to start picking up a bit quicker, aren't you? There's two approaches to picking up a bike. There's the front-in stance, which is the way I always do it, and there's always the back stance. I can't do the back stance, it doesn't work for me, so I'm not going to demonstrate that because I can't demonstrate it very well. But there are plenty of YouTube videos. Arthur prefers the backing. Don't you prefer to pick it up like that? But no, I prefer to pick it up like this, and so that's what I'm going to show you. Now the first thing to do, you've got to rotate the bars to make sure the wheel is pointing up. So if you fell off and your bars are tucked in like that, which they normally are, first thing to do, just rotate the bars out. And that changes the sort of leverage point on that front wheel. If you're trying to pick the bike up with the wheel facing in, you're lifting against the wheel. You're lifting against sort of the leverage point. Whereas if you turn the wheel that way, so the bars are open, facing up to the sky, you're lifting onto the wheel. It's sort of there to aid you. So, we've got the bike like that. This is where you do a little stretch, strain your back, but the idea is not to strain your back. So what you want to do, lift with your knees, lift with your legs, lift with your arms, everything but the back. I have a bad back. I'm always very cautious about how I pick a bike up because I don't want to make it worse. So I come into it like this. First thing, clasp your hands together, make a platform, get your hands underneath there. And this is where people, find it a bit difficult, because you've really got to get into a crouch. And if you just bring that around here, so you've got your palms underneath the handlebar ends like that. And then what you want to do, set yourself, get your feet set, and then tension through your legs, and in one smooth motion, 1, 2, 3, lift. And that's all on your legs, in your buttocks, your legs, not in your back. So it's a way to lift the bike without doing your back in. What you probably noticed then, what happens, the bike's in neutral. So you've got to be very careful when you lift a bike, certainly if you're on a trail or on a hill, that the bike's not going to roll away. Typically when you fall off, you're in gear. Now you've always got to remember, if that bike's in gear and the clutch is out, it's not, that's not going to go anywhere. So what you've got to make sure you don't do, if you're especially on a hill, trail riding, lift it up and then pull the clutch in, because it's just going to start rolling. So make sure you don't pull that clutch in, instinctively. Also, what you can do, and I've done it before and I've seen videos, is you overlift. Maybe the camera's off or you're overexcited, and you go up and the bike goes the other way. So you've really got to be careful that you don't do that. Obviously, if you're lifting the other side, lifting up from the bike's right hand side up, it's a good idea to drop the side stand, because then if you do overlift, the bike's going to stand rather than coming down. You know, if you're trail riding, what can also happen is if the bike falls, so it's the top of the bike is facing down the hill. And for me, the only way to rectify that is to literally drag the bike round and then lift it, because otherwise, yeah, you can't lift it against gravity. So that's it. It's a very simple technique. I'll do it again just so you know, just in case, just to knacker me back. But bike goes down. I've chosen the KTM 390 because it's the lightest of the 4 bikes I've got. I think it's like 165 kilos. So it's a nice light bike, certainly lighter than the Himalayas. About the same, a little bit lighter than the GS310. But you know, it's a good bike for somebody to lift if they're likely to drop it. So turn the bars out like that. Get underneath it. Clench the buttocks. Lift. And that's it. As I say, there's a back-in approach where you walk it back, but I just can't do that very well. But there's lots of YouTube videos out there that show you how to do that really well. What I would say is picking up the bike is one of the most basic skills you can have. And if you're riding a bike which you're afraid to drop because you don't think you can pick it up, then you've either got to learn the technique or maybe look at a bike that you are more comfortable on. You know, certainly if you are going to go off on a wild adventure where you might drop the bike, a bike that you feel comfortable that you can lift is kind of crucial. So that's it, day 1 video. Not sure what we'll do tomorrow, but we'll think of something. Alright, thank you.